start crap again.
Okay, let's go.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of The Grind. This is a weekly program where we talk about the sermon that we just heard this last weekend. And today we have Nathan and Rico. And the message that we heard last week was by Pastor Jacob, and he talks about ultimate kindness, how it's about giving others a second chance. And with a second chance, there's opportunity for change to happen. So an icebreaker question that we're going to kickstart our conversation today is, what is one situation in your life that you feel like you want to go back and, do take two with it? Like you want to go back and, second chance. Yes.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
So many cringe moments.
So many cringe moments in my life. If you knew me.
I think for me, probably is go back to school. Try to treat my peers better. Because I used to tease a lot. And
Wow, you bully
tell us more, Rico.
Are you a bully?
No, I'm not a bully. Or so I thought I was.
For everyone who's watching, Rico is truly remorse for his actions.
I love people.
Yeah. This was again in college, and I was with a group of friends, and it was late at night, and we were just heading home. And there was a homeless person by the side of the street and was asking for spare change. And I was like, oh, sorry, no. And as I walked past him, unfortunately, I kicked his can of change all over the pavement. So that was very embarrassing. And I was like, I'm so sorry, sir. He's like, no, that's okay. He was being nice about it. I was helping him pick up his coins and, putting it back in the can. I was like, okay, here you go. So sorry, bye. And then I was like walking off as fast as possible. And my friend said, hey, Pet, at least you could drop in some change or something for kicking his change all over the floor. I was like, I don't know. I panicked. So yeah, if I could just redo that, I'll actually give him a little bit more just spare change. Yeah. Thankfully, with God, we get a second chance in life. Yeah, so Jacob was just talking about the story of Moses, and how Moses, he brings people out of Egypt, and so he's on the mountains meeting God, and I guess there's a delay with him coming down the mountains, and all the Israelites are getting impatient, like, where's Moses, and so what happens was, like, basically they brought in all the jewelry and made a golden calf and, like, started to worship it. So that's just really, really random. And I think what Jacob...
It seems like a really extreme response.
Yeah, like, you can't wait for someone and then you build a calf and worship it, like a cow. Like, why a cow?
40 days.
The same
It's
guy
40
who actually let you go out of Egypt as well.
And it's 40 days.
Yeah,
right?
40 days. I mean...
So, like, what, is that 6 or 7 weeks?
6 or 7 weeks. I mean, okay, I guess one can be impatient for 6 to 7 weeks, but then the response is like build a cow and worship it. Like, I don't understand. I mean, they've been stuck in slavery for God knows how long, so yeah, they couldn't remain faithful for 40 days. Like, what Jacob calls this is a spiritual relapse, like turning back to the ex-lover, the old ways of living.
Right. So, like, they went back to living like they were still in Egypt.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like they're still
Slavery
remaining
and
in.
stuff. Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, I'm sure we've all, like, we're not perfect, right? We've stumbled before as well, and we've definitely potentially, like, struggled with, like, situations where we felt fear, pride, or whatever it is. So maybe, like, the question is, like, how do you relapse? What are some things that you find yourself, going to, to deal when it comes to problems? Like, yeah, how do you relapse, I guess? Do you find yourself relapsing?
Sorry. No, it's just that when I looked at Nathan, he's like, you want to go first? Sorry.
No, I tend to just hide with my good friend Netflix. Or my other good friend Sony PlayStation. Either one of those things will just take hours out of the day, and then I don't know where it's gone. And by it, I mean reality.
Yeah, I think for me it's sleep. So that I'm unconscious.
Oh wow! So literally nothing exists.
If I sleep and, like, I just don't have to think about it unless it haunts me in my dreams, which rarely it does. So
literally away from reality.
If you sleep hard enough, nothing's going on there.
Exactly. But yeah, also, my good friend Netflix as well is one, like, I basically...
You're using my Netflix.
Thank you for your generosity. But yeah, just escaping from reality through sleep or movies, I guess that's my relapse, I guess. So yeah, I mean, we do find it easier to kind of run away than to engage with the reality sometimes. So
yeah, and it's so easy to just stick your head in the sand these days.
yeah,
It's so easy.
yeah. I mean, what other like parts of the sermon like stuck out to you guys?
I like how Jacob said God became vulnerable with his people.
Yeah.
Because I think the image was that God in all his power and his might, he could just
Smite, sort of.
he could smite
Yeah.
and just like do away with them permanently.
Yeah.
And not give that a second thought, right?
Yeah.
But and that sort of reminds me of like Thanos. He gets ultimate power, and then he can literally snap away half of
And just redo
existence
reality.
and redo everything as he wants to.
Yeah.
But God instead, he lowers himself to us, and he becomes vulnerable in that he knows these people are going to hurt him again. He knows, like, the knowledge is there. He knows it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And yet he still decides to forgive and give them a second chance. And I think Jacob talked about that second chance being illustrated in that he gave Moses 2 new stone tablets identical to the first ones that he broke.
Yeah. And the fact
So
that
it's literally written in stone that it's a second chance.
Yeah. And also the fact that Moses like kind of pleaded with God. Like, I mean, Moses had that relationship to, you know, talk to God and asking his people a second chance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if there was no vulnerability going on, there's no relationship, I don't think Moses would have had the guts to be like, hey, God, want to give your people a second chance. So I think, like, if anything, vulnerability also leads to connection as well. So the fact that, like, God is vulnerable gave the opportunity for Moses to also, like, be able to connect with him as well. So I thought that was, like, really good. How about you, Rico? Anything?
I was gonna ask you guys actually, if you had the knowledge of knowing someone that did something wrong to you, and you know that they would probably do it again, would you still forgive them?
That's very difficult.
Especially if it's like a very serious one.
I think that's a question for everyone. So
Yeah.
ask that again.
What was that question?
If you had the knowledge that someone was going to hurt you again, would you still go ahead and forgive them? If you have an answer, drop it in the comments. I want to know what you guys think.
Yeah. I mean, the Bible does say, like, forgive. Like, that one story.
70 times 7, right?
Yes, that one, yeah, like.
What is 70 times 7? I can't math.
490 times. You just want some math, slightly.
That's why she's the pastor.
That's why I ended up being a musician.
Don't you need numbers and beats, you know? I mean,
He's
like.
a drummer. He only needs to count to 4.
Not 6, not 8.
That's true.
You should forgive. I mean, I think it does take kindness as well to extend forgiveness to someone that doesn't deserve it. I mean, I can think of people in my life that, you know, I know if I let them back in my life, they'll probably hurt me again. But it doesn't mean that I don't forgive them. But also forgiveness doesn't mean that you trust a person again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and also like what Pastor did mention before, you forgive but you don't forget.
Yeah.
Because it's foolish not to kind of just forget it, and then if the person does it again, you're just gonna be lenient.
It's not about being a walkover or a pushover.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, really, forgiveness sometimes is more about yourself.
Yeah.
Because what's it that people say? Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting it to kill the other person. So it's really more about yourself.
Yeah.
But also, like, in a way, it's definitely about the other person. You're able to let them go, but also protecting yourself in the future as well is just as important.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm just thinking of it in the aspect of, like, because for me, I'm a father, right?
Yeah.
And I know that my child would do something and that is not really good, but would do it again. But it's not something that I would actually feel so hurt about, and I hope it won't end in that kind of thing. But yeah, that's why I was like just wondering if something like really serious did happen, how would you react to it? So
yeah, something to think about. I mean, forgiveness is big topic. I mean, also, like, yeah, I mean, you can be kind and extend forgiveness to other people and give them a second chance. Like what we heard, ultimate kindness is about giving others second chances.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, the one person that we may struggle to give a second chance to could be ourselves. You know, like, I mean, we are our worst self-critic. Like, I mean, I can just, you know, even though someone might say like, oh, that's okay, but I might just hate on myself about something that I did, even though it seems so trivial to someone else, but for me, it's such a big thing. So I think for us, like, you know, if anything, like, we can hate ourselves real hard and feel guilty about the things that we've done. And, you know, like we said, like, we look back on situations in our lives and we think about, you know, second chances that we want to take. I mean, I can think of more than one where I'm like, I can really hate myself for just like doing the things that I did. You know, it's really like I've done some really stupid things and some really mean things, and I can hate on myself and, you know, wish I didn't break that relationship. But in a sense, like, we are where we're at, and, you know, in a sense, we need to be kind to each other, to ourselves as well, and not let self-hatred and guilt like just eat at us. I mean, it accomplishes nothing. So, and I think the beauty of it is that, you know, it's through Jesus, like, we have a second chance, like the ultimate sacrifice. That's like basically the ultimate act of kindness, is like dying on the cross for us to have a second chance. So if Jesus gives us a second chance, why can't we give ourselves a second chance as well?
That's good.
Yeah. But sometimes I think we don't feel like we deserve it.
Yeah.
I think that's the challenge for a lot of people, is that getting over that notion that we have to earn it,
Yeah.
and that this second chance, or, you know, this ultimate second chance that Jesus has given us, is actually a gift, something that we don't have to earn.
Yeah, that's true. And sometimes the fact that we actually think in the first place, we won't be asking it at all because we're just worried that we would be rejected. And that we didn't even get that chance to kind of like talk to God or ask Jesus if I can have that second chance.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we don't deserve it, we can earn it. Yeah, but I was gonna start singing Reckless Love, but but I won't.
You could.
Ah, it's okay. No one needs to hear my voice.
I do.
No, we're good. We're good. So yeah. So I guess think about that for yourself. It's like, how has God given you a second chance, and what are you gonna do with it? And, you know, maybe again, some of you watching might feel as though you are struggling with having that, giving yourself that second chance. But again, like we heard, ultimate kindness is giving second chances. And so yeah, just I guess celebrate the fact that we have a God who gives second chances, and that you have a second chance. So yeah, I think this pretty much wraps up our time today. Again, in the chat, in the comments, let us know any feedback, any questions that you may have. And yeah, thank you guys for joining, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.